Gogeta is a really cool character. I think we all agree on that. But he is actually way cooler than most people realize. And not just because of his power, his design, or his insane fights. There is a deeper layer to his character that Dragon Ball subtly shows, especially in the Broly movie. And once you notice it, you genuinely start seeing Gogeta differently. Because the version of Gogeta I am talking about here is specifically the Dragon Ball Super, Broly Gogeta. And in my opinion, that is the most complete and well-written version of Gogeta we have ever gotten. Yes, I love his Fusion Reborn appearance, and yes, the GT version is iconic, but DBS Gogeta just takes the cake in terms of character, portrayal, behavior, and philosophy during battle. So first, we have to ask a simple question. Who exactly is Gogeta? On the surface, the answer is obvious. Gogeta is the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. But that is only the physical explanation. The philosophical explanation is where things get interesting, because Goku and Vegeta are not just two strong Saiyan. They represent two completely different martial arts mindsets. Vegeta is the embodiment of ego. His entire character arc revolves around pride, self-worth, and dominance. Even his modern form, Ultra Ego, literally leans into that concept. He grows stronger the more he embraces his battle pride and warrior ego. Meanwhile, Goku represents the complete opposite philosophy. Goku is not ego-driven in the same way. He fights to improve, to learn, and to push himself. Yes, he is a Saiyan with natural battle instincts and bloodlust, but he uses martial arts discipline to purify that instinct, rather than be controlled by it. Now, here is where things get insanely interesting. When Goku and Vegeta fuse into Gogeta, you are not just combining power levels, you are combining philosophies. You are combining the largest ego in the Dragon Ball universe with the greatest ego-taming martial artist in the series. In other words, Gogeta technically possesses the greatest ego imaginable due to Vegeta's nature. But because he also inherits Goku's mindset and martial arts purity, that ego is perfectly controlled, refined, and disciplined instead of being destructive. This is why Gogeta doesn't act arrogant in the way Vegeta sometimes does. He is confident, calm, and composed, almost like a master martial artist who already understands the outcome of the battle before it even begins. And this is exactly why calling Gogeta the god of martial arts is not just a cool title. It actually makes philosophical sense. If you look at martial arts history and philosophy, especially concepts tied to Budo, Taoist, and Buddhist influence, the highest level of a martial artist is not someone who fights with rage or hatred. It is someone who has mastered their inner self, their ego, and their intent. Master Roshi was literally called the god of martial arts because he taught discipline, self-control, and pure combat without malice. Goku inherited that philosophy, which is symbolized by him being able to ride the flying Nimbus, something only a pure-hearted martial artist can do. Now imagine combining that purity with Vegeta's overwhelming pride and cosmic-level ego. That fusion is Gogeta. This dynamic is actually very similar to Sun Wukong at the end of Journey to the West. By the end of his journey, Wukong does not erase his ego or his wild nature. Instead, he accepts it, controls it, and balances it with enlightenment and discipline. Gogeta functions almost like a perfect yin and yang embodiment of that same idea. Raw Saiyan instinct and absolute martial arts mastery existing in harmony. And the Broly movie shows this through behavior, not dialogue. Look closely at how Gogeta fights Broly. He is not raging, he is not mocking, he is not acting malicious. He is calm, efficient, and precise. Even while completely dominating Broly, his movements feel like a martial arts performance rather than a desperate struggle. He escalates forms strategically, analyzes Broly's growth, and continuously pushes the fight forward in a controlled manner. That is not the behavior of someone fighting out of hatred. That is the behavior of someone practicing martial arts at the highest possible level. In traditional samurai philosophy, defeating an opponent in one decisive and efficient sequence without emotional hatred is considered honorable combat. Gogeta embodies that idea perfectly. He absolutely overwhelms Broly, yet there is no cruelty in his actions. He is simply pushing his own limits while neutralizing a threat. Now, here is another detail people overlook. Why did Gogeta let Frieza escape? Think about it. At that point, Gogeta had overwhelming godlike power. Frieza posed zero immediate threat to him. Eliminating Frieza right there would not have been a defensive action. It would have required malicious intent. And malicious intent directly contradicts the core purity of martial arts discipline that comes from Goku's side of the fusion. Because Gogeta exists in this instinctual, balanced mental state, he acts almost like a higher martial being, rather than a revenge-driven warrior. This is also why his presence feels so different compared to Vegeta. Vegeta leans more into personality and dominance. Gogeta leans into instinct, discipline, and absolute combat mastery. And honestly, this is why the Broly movie version of Gogeta feels so peak to so many fans, including me. He is not just strong, he is conceptually complete. His design, his calm demeanor, his fluid combat style, and his philosophical balance between ego and purity all align perfectly. He is not just a fusion, he is the perfected martial harmony of Goku and Vegeta. Credit where it's due as well. I first understood this deeper philosophical perspective from Jordan the Dragon Lee, and it genuinely changes how you view Gogeta's character once you think about it from a martial arts lens, instead of just a power scaling lens. Now before ending, it's shoutout time because the last video genuinely blew up and the support has been crazy, so thank you all for that. First shoutout goes to Kareen Cook, who said, TBH, considering the vastness of KI in DBF, they should have been doing something like this earlier. And honestly, I agree 100%. Dragon Ball has always had insane key concepts, so seeing deeper applications now actually feels like a natural evolution rather than something out of nowhere. Second shoutout goes to Amplify Magic, who said, in Toyotaro, we trust. And honestly, that trust is being tested but also rewarded depending on how the future arcs are handled. And the final shoutout goes to Shay Nelowis, who said, hold on, so Ultra Instinct adapts to anything? He's Maharaga now? And that comment actually made me laugh because Goku adapting mid-battle is not even new. He has been doing that since the early Dragon Ball days. Just watch his fight against Jackie Chun. That fight alone shows how quickly Goku learns, adapts, and evolves during combat. So yeah, when you really break it down, Gogeta is not just a cool fusion character with flashy attacks. He is potentially the highest representation of martial arts philosophy in Dragon Ball. A being with the greatest ego imaginable, yet completely tamed through discipline, instinct, and pure combat mastery. And that is why DBS Gogeta is genuinely the god of martial arts. If you enjoyed this deeper character analysis, make sure to like, subscribe, and support the channel because we are aiming for the next big milestone. And I've been putting a lot of effort into these detailed Dragon Ball breakdowns. Until next time, take care and see ya.